reading Charlotte's Web, and today I am actually at a real farm again. Look what's behind me, growing tall corn. I'm gonna get started reading. Everybody walked toward Wilbur, and Wilbur didn't know what to do. The woods seemed a long way off, and anyway, he had never been down there in the woods, and he wasn't sure he would like it. "Get around him, behind him, Lurvy," said Mr. Zuckerman, "and drive him toward the barn, and take it easy. Don't rush him. I'll go and get a bucket of slops." And the news of Wilbur's escape spread rapidly among the animals in the place. Whenever any creature broke loose on Zuckerman's farm, the event was of great interest to the others. The goose shouted to the nearest cow at Wilbur that Wilbur was free, and soon all the cows knew. One of the cows told one of the sheep, and soon all of the sheep knew. The lambs learned about it from their mothers. The horses in their stalls in the barn pricked up their ears when they heard the goose hollering, and soon the horses had caught on what was happening. "Wilbur's out," they said. Every animal stirred and lifted its head and became excited to know that one of his friends had gotten free and was no longer pinned up or tied fast. Wilbur didn't know what to do or which way to run. It seemed as though everybody was after him. "If this is what it's like to be free," he thought, "I believe I'd rather be pinned up in my own yard." You guys, there's a barn kitty. I'm going to show you the barn kitty. Hi, barn kitty. He wants to sit on my lap and listen to Charlotte's Web too. The Cocker Spaniel was sneaking up on him from one side, and Lurvy, the hired man, was sneaking up on him from the other side. Mrs. Zuckerman stood ready to head him off as if he started for the garden, and now Mr. Zuckerman was carrying down toward him a bucket. Here's a picture of Mr. and Mrs. Zuckerman. "This is really awful," thought Wilbur. "Why doesn't Fern come?" He began to cry. The goose took command and began to give orders. "Don't just stand there, Wilbur. Dodge about, dodge about, dodge about," cried the goose. "Skip around, run toward me, slip in and out, in and out, in and out. Make for the woods, twist and turn." The Cocker Spaniel sprang for Wilbur's hind leg. Wilbur jumped and ran. Lurvy reached out and he grabbed. Mrs. Zuckerman screamed at Lurvy. The goose cheered for Wilbur. Wilbur dodged between Lurvy's legs. Lurvy missed Wilbur and grabbed the spaniel instead. Nicely done, cried the goose. Try it again. "Run downhill," suggested the cows. "Run toward me," yelled the gander. "Run uphill," cried the sheep. "Twist and turn," honked the goose. "Jump and dance," said the rooster. And here's a picture of them all getting tangled up. "Look out for Lurvy," called the cows. "Look out for Zuckerman," yelled the gander. "Watch out for the dog," cried the sheep. Listen to me," screamed the goose. Poor Wilbur. He was dazed and frightened by all of this hullabaloo. He didn't like being the center of all of this fuss. He tried to follow the instructions his friends were giving him, but he couldn't run downhill and uphill at the same time. And he couldn't turn and twist when he was jumping and dancing. And he was crying so hard he could barely see anything that was happening. After all, Wilbur was a very young pig, not much more than a baby, really. He wished Fern were there to take him in her arms and to comfort him. When he looked up and saw Mr. Zuckerman standing quite close to him, holding a pail of warm slops, he felt relieved. He lifted his nose and he sniffed. The smell was delicious. Warm milk, potato skins, wheat middlings, Kellogg's cornflakes, and a popover left from the Zuckerman's breakfast. "Come on, pig," said Mr. Zuckerman, tapping the pail. "Come on, pig. Wilbur took a step toward the pail. "No, no, no," said the goose. "It's an old trick." "Wilbur, don't fall for it, don't fall for it, don't fall for it. He's trying to lure you back into captivity, Ivity. He's appealing to your stomach." But Wilbur, he didn't care. The food smelled appetizing. He took another step toward the pail. "Pig, pig," said Mr. Zuckerman in a kind voice, and began walking slowly toward the barnyard, looking all about him innocently, as if he didn't know that a little white pig was following along behind him. "You'll be sorry, sorry, sorry," called the goose. But Wilbur, he didn't care. He kept walking toward the pail of slops. "You'll miss your freedom," honked the goose. "An hour of freedom is worth a barrel of slops." And Wilbur didn't care. When Mr. Zuckerman reached the pig pen, he climbed over the fence and he poured the slops into the trough. Then he pulled the loose board away from the fence so that there was a wide hole for Wilbur to walk through. "Reconsider, reconsider," cried the goose. But Wilbur paid no attention. He stepped through the fence into his yard. He walked to the trough and he took a long drink of slops, sucking in the milk hungrily and chewing the pop over. It was good to be home again. While Wilbur ate, Lurvy fetched a hammer and some 8-penny nails, and he nailed that board back into place. Then he and Mr. Zuckerman leaned lazily on the fence, and Mr. Zuckerman scratched Wilbur's back with a stick. "Oh, he's quite a pig," said Lurvy. "Yes, he'll make a good pig," said Mr. Zuckerman. Wilbur heard the words of praise. He felt the warm milk inside of his stomach. He felt the pleasant rubbing of the stick alongside his itchy back. He felt peaceful and happy and sleepy. This had been a tiring afternoon. It was still only about 4 o'clock, but Wilbur was ready for bed. "I'm really too young to go out into the world alone," he thought as he lay down. Okay, friends, that was the end of chapter 3, and now we're going to tell you the next chapter. It is called chapter 4, Loneliness, and you guys say, "Done, done, done." All right, guys, have a good day.